Feuillien Cuvée de Noël.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Pardon my French, but I've been spending a lifetime trying to avoid speaking that gobbledygook, but it looks like I've got no choice now. Because I've got a bottle of this Saint-Feuillien.
I hear that the Germans are licking for Ronnie.
I think it's how it's pronounced, Saint-Feuillien Cuvée de Noël, which means Christmas Cuvée. Cuvée, that's something to do with wine. I don't know why they use it, but it's something to do with wine. It's something to do with the... I don't know, what is it something to do with? I know it's connected with wine, and I think it's something to do with the shape of the bottle, that they call it Cuvée. And they've seen fit to use it on here. They don't use it on most of the Flemish-speaking Belgian beers. But on the French side, they do use it quite a lot. No, that's actually a lie, because the Grand Cru, made by the... Who's the brewery in Rosselaire? I can't think of the name of it, but they do a Cuvée and they do a Grand Cru as well, both connected with wine. You know my opinion on wine.
Men don't order wine, all right?
I'm not going to go into it here, but you know what it is. Anyway, this is from the Saint-Feuillien. Feuillien. So I don't see, this is French, right? The French.
Another geezer I know, his old man was French and his mum was French. He was a cunt.
Lovely people. But for fuck's sake, your language, you've got to sort it out, right? Saint-Feuillien. How many letters are there? There's F-E-U-I-L-L-I-E-N. And all that is Saint-Feuillien. It's like they've looked at the word and they've started pronouncing it and gone, oh, do you know what, for fuck's sake, just call it Saint-Feuillien. I can't be arsed with the rest of it. That's what it sounds. That's what French sounds like to me when I look at it written down. There's another example. This comes from a place called La Rue, right? That's how it's pronounced, La Rue, but it's spelled R-O-U-L-X or something like that. And you just think, why not R-O-O? It's exactly the fucking same. Why do you have to put all these superfluous fucking letters in it? See, that's why I won't speak it, because there's letters there that you don't need to do. So I'm fucking wasting my time reading that, really.
Go on! Have a go at it, go on!
Anyway, I didn't come here to rant about the French language. Fuck it, do you know what? I think it's lockdown. Anything, the slightest fucking thing now, and that's it, I'm off ranting and raving how wrong everyone else is, apart from me. I'm always right. The fact is, it's probably the other way around. But anyway, let's calm down. Let's start again. Saint-Feuillien. Lovely bit of Belgian brewing there. And the brewery has been going since 1873. And it's been based in that region of La Rue, run by the same family since then. I think there was a very, very brief period when it fell out of the family's hands. I think that was about for 8 or 10 years or something like that. But then they reacquisitioned it, and it's there to this day. Now, this, I think, I could be wrong, because the old grey matter is not what it used to be. This is what happens when you get old. I don't know whether I've reviewed one of their beers before. And do you know what? I don't think I have. It doesn't stand out anyway. But their triple, the Saint-Feuillien triple, this is obviously the Cuvée de Noël, but their triple is renowned as being the best Belgian triple out there. Now, I've tasted some good Belgian triples. I don't think I've tried that, but after reading that, I am now going to make it my mission to try and get hold of some of that and review it, because if they're saying it's the best, I want to know about it. But anyway, we're not talking about the triples today, we're talking about this stuff, the Cuvée de Noël. And it's the Christmas beer that they brew, seasonal Christmas beer. It accounts for 8% of their sales, which is quite interesting. But it's quite a new beer. It was introduced in 1969. the year I was born, believe it or not. That's how fucking old I am. I was born in the 60s. As I say, it's quite a popular one. It's been brewed since then, and it's gone on to represent 8% of their sales, which, that's no mean feat. And it's in keeping with the tradition of a lot of the Belgian brewers who brew a special Christmas beer. Now, I've tried some of the Belgian Christmas beers. Some have been good. A couple have been outstanding, but some have been pretty poor. When I'm talking about the poor ones, the one that immediately springs to mind is the Leffe stuff. I really didn't like that at all. That was very artificially sort of tasted. It's brewed by AB InBev, so I should have known better. I generally tend to find that these smaller family-run brewers do better beer. So with that in mind, let's get this investigated. 330ml bottle, 9% ABV, which is quite strong. And the ingredients on here, I can see it contains licorice, which is interesting. Barley, malt and licorice. Contains barley, malt and licorice. The ingredients, it's just in French and German, it hasn't got it in English. And that is all I'm afraid I'm going to be able to tell you about it. All right, well that's not such a bad thing, because to be honest, I don't really like reading the descriptions till I've tasted the beer, because I don't want to have any pre-misconceptions about the beer and what it's going to taste like before I drink it, because that can sort of cloud your judgment. You're sort of, I wouldn't say you're willing yourself, but subconsciously it does affect it. But with that in mind, I have no idea what this beer is going to be like, so let's get it open. I've got to be careful about this, because this was laying on its side, and I've found that when these beers, especially the Belgians, when I open them, they tend to fizz up, because usually they're bottle fermented, or bottle conditioned, I should say, bottle fermented. Well, it's the same thing really. So if I panic, this is what's happening. I have to take this off very gingerly indeed. I can see this is going to fizz up already, I can hear it. Can you hear that? Yeah, that is lively. That is fucking quick lively, that is. Yeah, you fucking bastard. Why did they do it? Do you know why? I'll tell you why, exactly why. This is karma for taking the piss out of the French language. I can see this going everywhere. Oh, you bastard. You bastard. Right. Well, that was done with the least amount of spillage possible. So hats off to you, Bell End. Now it says to it, serve it in a chalice. God, the fucking carbonation is insane. Look at that. Really big bubbles on that head. Cap is just plain brass, nothing to see there. My hands are covered in this shit, and it's going to be really sticky. Nice. What are we getting on the nose? God, ethanol. First thing that hits me is ethanol. Ethanol, candy sugar. And, you know, I would have got this anyway, but there is licorice there, I can get that. There's quite a few types of herb in there as well. Getting like sort of a nutmeg, dark fruit now coming through, and caramel malt, roasted malt as well. Toffee, caramel and toffee malt coming through there now. Interesting. Smells like a pretty decent one. Let's see what it's like on the palate. Bottoms up. Oh, yeah, the ethanol is definitely there. Quite a lot of dark fruit as well. I'm going to have to get the rag of shame out, because there is some spillage down here. I should have known better. I should have left it upright for a while, but that's by the by. This actually doesn't taste too bad at all, and it's putting me in mind of a barley wine because the ethanol's big, sugar is reasonable on it, but it appears they've concentrated more on the fruit and the sort of spices, the licorice, than they have on the sugar. Oh, that licorice is really coming through now. Even a subtle bitterness on the end, which tastes, in my mind, sort of hoppy, if anything else. It's like a hop bitterness, rather than it's coming from the roasted malt. Again, this is a nice one. I do like this. This, like a couple of them, like a couple of these Christmas beers, there's similarities between this and quadruples, and certain quadruples have got a lot of the characteristics of the old ale barley wine style from the UK. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're identical, but they've got a lot of the characteristics. The fact that this has got licorice in it, that's a big sort of similarity, because a lot of the British stuff, they put licorice in as well. It's actually really strong, the licorice in there. That's a real dominant flavour, and that makes a nice change. It would appear that they've sacrificed that sugar, syrup, molasses, treacle type flavour. What I'm getting is that they've substituted that for the licorice, and that does make a nice change, because I don't mind some licorice in beer. I know it's one of them flavours that some people don't like in beer, and it puts them off. There are certain flavours like that, you know. Some people don't like the candy sugar or invert sugar. I must admit, I'm not a fan of strong invert sugar in British beer. I don't mind the candy sugar in Belgian beer. I like licorice. Some people don't like that. And there's certain other flavours or adjuncts in there that some people don't like. However, I have to say, this really is not bad at all. And when I swirl this around, I'm trying to get a bit of a head on it, because, you know, with that big alcohol and the ethanol in there, it does dissipate quite quickly. But when I do that, I'm just getting a waft of licorice. It's almost like a licorice all salt. You know that type with the little sweetness on top of it, the black licorice all salt with the sort, I don't know whether that's some sort of sugar in the middle, but it's got a licorice coating on it. That's what I'm being put in mind of. Oh, that's really good. That is really nice. And to be honest, you do get the ethanol. You can taste that, but it's not off-putting. It's not big. It doesn't really, I wouldn't say burn, but it's not as warming as some of the others I've tried. Some of the ones that have got a slightly lower ABV have just really, I wouldn't say burnt, but they've warmed as they've gone down. This isn't really doing that. And I have to say, I'm really liking this. It's quite well rounded as well. There's no flavours that really stand out. Yeah, the licorice is there, but that to me is not an obtrusive flavour, because I like it. There's no, you know, harsh spice in there, no big ethanol, no big candy sugar. They're the three that you should be, I wouldn't say wary of, but you sometimes find in Belgian beers. This has got some of all of that to an extent, but it's quite a rounded, balanced beer, and that, I think, is a good one. It just fucking knocks the Leffe stuff out of the park. I shouldn't really be comparing them. I mean, the Leffe stuff is brewed by AB InBev on a massive scale. This is a family-owned brewer based in a small village based in Hainaut, which is the Walloon French speaking part of Belgium. But yeah, this is a good one. I really do like this. Absolutely no complaints about that whatsoever. So, what's the verdict on Saint-Feuillien Cuvée de Noël? Really nice. I can forgive the karma for me having a go at the French language. That was karma knocking on my door. But I have to say, that was a nice beer. And I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's up there with some of the best. And a couple have stood out, and I'm going to put this one in that category as well. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. That is a really nice one. And I genuinely can't think whether I've reviewed some of the Saint-Feuillien stuff. Feuillien, that sounds German. It's Saint-Feuillien. I can't pronounce it. I'm not going to try. I'm probably, if I do try and pronounce it, it's going to be wrong. But I don't think I've tried anything by them before. Or have I? I'll look this up, and I will. If I have, I'll put a link in the description. If I've tried the triple before, I'm going to revisit it because I haven't really got that registered in my mind. And they're saying, or not they're saying, but it's been renowned as being the best triple in the world. So I'm going to, or the best Belgian triple. I'm going to try that. But this stuff, absolutely no complaints whatsoever. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And that, I think, is a fair mark. And the reason I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, I really like it, but there's licorice in that, and licorice is not to everybody's taste. So if I give it a 10 out of 10 and someone tries it, and they don't like licorice, they're going to say, this tastes like a fucking bag ladies period. Why have you given it 9 out of 10? But I warn you now, that's why it's not getting 10. It's because it's got a flavour in, and this is completely subjective, and this is just my own take on it. If there's a flavour in there that's quite contentious, you sort of alienating a lot of people that don't like that flavour. But if you like licorice, you're going to like this, and that's why I've given it a 9 out of 10. I do like licorice. And it makes a nice change as well, because usually it's, dumped full of candy sugar. Well, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are just dumped full of candy sugar, and they've got that syrupy sweetness. That's been replaced by the licorice, and I like that. It reminds me of a barley wine, a good barley wine. The really good British barley wine that you get from decent brewers like Adnams and Shepherd Neame, and brewers like that. But it's a good, and yeah, I definitely recommend this. I picked this up. I will tell you exactly how much I paid for it. Well, I'm going to attempt to tell you how much I paid for it. Have I got it on there? Did I get it from? No, I didn't. So I can't. That was Beers of Europe. That was. It's on their website. I'd imagine it's about £3 something. Worth it though. I don't mind. As I say, I don't mind paying for beers that are decent like this, and that's a good. Craft brewers charge nearly £5 a can for certain beers, and they attempt to do Belgian quads, and they come nowhere near it, and they charge £5 for the privilege. But no, I'm not having it. That's a good. That's a 9 out of 10, and that's recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.